Alright, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, we're off. Okay, both of our racers starting at the same time. Skurry checked his mods this time. Everything looks like it's going to work. Okay, so while we do all this boring King's Pass stuff, let's look at this card. I'm getting distracted by Discord. Okay, so on the card, a couple of quick and easy goals around the border, notably 5 corner for locations in Soulmaster, are the 2 fastest static goals we could see. Though it's quite possible we'll see someone start by buying Weaver Song or Dash Slash in one of the shops. That being said, column 5 is a pretty bad column to lock yourself into. Really bad randomized goal here. Requires Dream Nail, another randomized goal, and Crystal Guardian 2 quite out of the way. So I doubt we'll see anyone want to go for column 5. Row 1. Oh, I didn't mention this earlier, but as we can see, only 150 Geo from the first chest. This is going to be a very poor start. Our runners are going to have to probably try and farm a lot of Geo if they want to buy anything out of the shops other than minimum price. Wow, I said that Skurry had fixed his mods, but what a surprise, he didn't. Disappoint. But anyways, as going around the board, column 5 looks bad. Row 1 looks decent. 2 guaranteed goals, the randomized goals. Soul Tyrant's terrible, but the other 2 aren't the worst. Column 1, pretty bad actually. So these 3 goals are all randomized. Then this one takes forever and has very high item requirements, Claw and Crystal Heart. Only 1 good goal in column 1. Then finally, last but not least, row 5. Actually not the worst. You can see 3 static goals. Crystal Guardian 2 can also be forced as a static goal if you want to, though that's quite slow. I think there's a very strong argument for row 5. The only problem, there's no way to rush row 5. Your best shot is finding Shade Soul somewhere. So yeah, we could see early sort of stalemate where neither runner wants to mark a goal because marking goals is or getting a starting position or an ideal starting position is quite difficult. Interesting to see Zeno not farming at all. He also bought Crossroads Stag early, which is an unusual decision, but that will leave him short-handed for Salubra if he opts to check her early. Alright, so Skurry about 30 seconds behind Zeno after all the settings issues. So, other thing to consider, what are our second lines looking like? So column 4, 3 guaranteed goals. Failed champion is usually quite bad. These are kind of slow goals in general, but very doable. Row 2. Row 2 is awful. Bretta, Sly, and Watcher Knights aren't bad. The other 3 are quite slow, actually, with pretty high item requirements. Column 2. Extra Soul Vessel's not usually bad. Mass Shard in the Hive is easy to get. Shape of Un from False Knight, so we're not off to a very fast start. Yeah, Isma's Deer, fairly likely to find it. Then, last but not least, row 4, only 1 static goal, but you're going to feel pretty good about finding Dream Nail at some point. And Isma's Deer, another pretty likely one to find. So all in all, column 5 gives you access to the best second line with the most static goals, but row 5 is probably the best for actually building something. That is my thought on it, at least. But like I said before, I think that this is the kind of scenario where you aren't really going to want to think about goals early on. You're really just going to want to rush items, get as much as you can. The sides don't really have any significant differences from each other, to the extent where you would want to take time away from randomizer to rush particular goals. Oh no, Skurry, no. Skurry is making a mistake. Like, this is possible, but no. I think it's possible. But no. This is not in logic. Dream Shield Balder kill is an extraordinarily bad idea. I think Zeno is making much better play by heading into Resting Grounds at this point. They don't really have the Geo to do anything else. Skurry immediately giving up. So that's good. Only about another 30 seconds wasted or so. Maybe more. It'll be interesting to see what he does though. Skurry did farm a bit more Geo than Zeno did, so the shop option is available to him. Not particularly valuable considering there'll be a lot of grinding to buy most items, but you never know. Yeah, I think the most opportunity for something interesting with the bingo card right now is if someone finds Dream Wielder. See if they feel tempted to mark that. Column 5, very much a mixed bag here. But Zeno making it through the dark room quite effortlessly. Now he's going to get 4 checks in Resting Grounds, 2 of which are collectible at the moment. Meanwhile, Skurry headed down. See Grossmother, probably a shade skip to Salubra. Worth noting that Skurry had absolutely no reason to buy that toll. All of that will do is make it 10% less likely that I'll be able to buy items from Salubra. Yeah, not a great play. Worth noting too that with the 170 geo he'll have, only a 14% chance of even being able to buy items in the first place. Not great. Might even be worth a round of Huskard farming before coming down to do the Shade Skip. Just because it's quite slow to revisit or leave your bench here. Alright, meanwhile Zeno finds his 160 geo chest here. Plus Lifeblood Heart. And was that Greed? I'll catch it on the restream. Let's see. No, long nail. I can't read. And Nailmaster's Glory as the other Resting Grounds item. Not great, unfortunately. So, but the good news is that with that 160 geo, it will be much easier for Zeno to afford any items in the shops coming up. This is a very nice advantage for him. Meanwhile, Skurry is gonna do the Shade Skip. He has 170 geo stored in the Shade. Will it be enough? Meanwhile, is this an Zelda check from Zeno? Fragile Heart and Defender's Crest at Salubra. Kinda garbage. Meanwhile, nothing at Zelda either. So, it's all down to Sly. Any guesses in chat for what Sly is gonna give us? I'm feeling a Balder Charm. Maybe Spore Shroom. Alright, what's it gonna be? It's Dive. Alright, Dive opens up 5 locations. Those are Mothwing Cloak, Baldur's Shell, the Green Path Chest, the Resting Grounds Chest, and Fluke Nest. That means we see the celebrations in chat. Oh, sorry, 6, because I always forget about Soulcatcher. Soulcatcher is also in play. So, that means that with Dive found, we have a 16% chance that Fluke Nest will be required progression. Barring, of course, the odds that vertical progression is available elsewhere, that's not required progression. Yeah, it's actually a little less than 16%. But the rhetorical point stands. That is the best thing to hope for right now. Interesting to note, Skurry is headed into Resting Grounds here. I do like this play with the 3 accessible items available. Hopefully he'll be confident in his dark rooms, get through quickly and easily. Oh yeah, Skurry couldn't buy Dive either, so he's probably hoping to find a Geo pickup, which he will. It won't be big enough, but it'll definitely help with not having to farm quite so much. Zeno not farming his Shade. Curious. Obviously not necessary, but this will add 3 seconds in load transition. as he goes back out to kill it. Alright. Let's check out this dark room from Skurry. Not great. He doesn't reset the room either. He's already taken a lot of damage now. And we have a death. I believe Skurry had a lot of trouble with Dark Room on his last attempt too. His last race. It's worth noting, Dive in the shop does open 4 locations not blocked by Dark Room. This is not required for Skurry. And of course we know he has only 1 location as a chance for actual progression here, which he can't even check with the Geo he has. This is just a little unfortunate. Skurry, already down 2 HP, decides to quit out after taking back his shade. Pretty good idea. We'll see if Skurry decides to back out. Yes, Dark Room can be required in hard mode. In easy mode, Resting Grounds does require Claw to access. So an example of how you would actually get there with Claw without doing a Shade Skip or anything. Well, one way would just be to farm Lantern for this, of course. The more fun way is to go through Howling Cliffs, down into Green Path, into Fog Canyon, into Fungal Wastes, into Deep Nest, pick up your Tram Pass, then come back and take the nice and easy tram into Resting Grounds. That's easy mode. But yeah, Dark Room, hard mode, for sure. Unfortunately, I think that Skurry probably should have chosen to avoid this play, knowing that he's not quite as experienced with the Dark Room, and it's very, very likely that you won't be forced to do it. So we see Zeno here. He picks up his dive, probably going to see him head back to Resting Grounds. That is his fastest available check now. After that, I'd imagine we'll see Soul Catcher. And Skurry is through. Thank goodness. Great to see. I'm tempted to say Skurry is about 4 or 5 minutes behind Zeno at this point, but definitely not over yet. Meanwhile, Zeno's going to give us this look at the Resting Grounds chest. We'll see if he continues and grabs the City of Tears King Station. He's down here. Probably just check the item, but you never know. Seeing so much use out of this Dream Shield here. Yeah, the Dark Room play completely worthless in this seed. Well, I say that. Let's not count our chickens yet. Loot Farm is still available. it does seem that Zeno wants to head down. This is kind of a questionable play with his current geo count, I think. Like, you can see here, he won't be able to afford King Station. So he'll have to bench there and go get the geo. But without dash, or without dash or any vertical movement, it's quite difficult to navigate this area, and quite slow, so... in fact, I'm not even sure that there's a good way to get Gorgeous Husk and King Station while he's down here. It's quite hard to get back up. Lem is certainly an option though. However, Lem will be like a 3-minute detour. Maybe not that long, but extraordinarily slow, let's say. Let's see. Gotta go for Gorgeous Husk? Nope. That's a mistake. If you don't go for Gorgeous Husk first, it's quite hard to get back. You're gonna require... I believe you can do an RNG based enemy pogo to get to it. That is painful. Nope, it looks like we might actually see Zeno walk around. Meanwhile, Skurry is gonna start farming for dive. Depending on how long Zeno spends in City of Tears, we could even see Skurry be checking new items before Zeno gets out of here. That was interesting from Zeno. I was gonna say he might be going for the Wanderer's Journal down there, but clearly not something he's interested in. Let's see. Does Skurry have enough geo? I don't think he does. I seem to remember chat saying it was 370. I did not see the number. Skurry also forgetting which shop dive was in. Oh yeah, dive is quite expensive. Oh, Skurry, not close. But Skurry is going this way. Maybe he's going to go right? No? Skurry is farming geonodes. I mean, that's an option. It's not the fast option. It is there. Meanwhile, Zeno gonna grab a second relic. Actually, a third, I should say. We'll get 1,050 geo here. This is enough to buy the simple key if that's what he wants. I mean, Flukemarm, an objectively bad play here, I feel tempted to say. It's significantly slower than checking Green Path, and quite a bit less likely. Oh, but it's available. We might also see a Nail 1 play here. Not bad. No Dream Warriors on the card. And we already saw no good Essence items. So really no reason not to make an early nail upgrade play. Okay, that was long and arduous, but Skurry seems to be done with geofarming. Meanwhile, Zeno, not quite seeming to know how to do an enemy BOGO. He gets it on the second one. And he'll have enough here to buy nail 2 and the simple key if he wants to. Meanwhile, Skurry following in Zeno's footsteps. Will he continue in the city of Tirso? That's the question. I'm not quite sure what Zeno is doing here. This is strange. Is he farming the... Okay. I mean, that's an enemy you can farm. Now he's headed into the basin. There's a journal down here. Not much else to get, but it's available. He cannot get pale ore. This pale ore is 100% blocked by verticality. Cannot even chase it for it. And Zeno already got nail 1, so... The only way for him to get nail 2 would be to farm essence off of random enemy drops. Actually... I suppose he could kill like 0 and no eyes or something. If he could find Dream Nail somewhere. All the other pale ores are not accessible. Oh, interesting. I might have missed this. Was Sprintmaster at Soulcatcher? Well, anyways, or maybe Skurry bought Sprintmaster in the shop. Regardless, Skurry making up an awful lot of time on Zeno, as Zeno continues to commit to this weird early fluke farm play. I'm not quite sure why he would do this. And it's fun and all. Maybe he feels like he doesn't have to win this race. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was looking at that as Sprintmaster, but it's clearly just now Master's Glory, now that I look at it again. I'm dumb. I should have known that that was in the wrong spot on the tracker, too. Excuse me. But, yeah, Zeno hardcore committing to the simple key. He's gonna be poor, and he'll have not checked much of the game at all. But he is gonna go see what's at Fluke Farm. Meanwhile, we see some elite speed running strats from Skurry, healing while moving. This is why Skurry is top 3 in any percent. Of course, what I would like to see here is Vengeful Spirit at Fluke Nest. That is what I think should be there. Then maybe let's put Claw at Leg Eater. I think that would be a fun seed. Of course, in all likelihood, there's going to be garbage at Fluke. It just is quite rare for this to actually be a good play. Okay. Skurry taking out Hornet. We'll see what's at Mothman Close before we see what's at Fluke Nest. Deep focus. So, Hornet hiding all of the garbage. Deep focus, of course, being quite possibly the worst format charm. Okay, but here is Fluke Farm. Round 1, begin. I'm not a huge fan of working in dive into the fight. I like to stand on the left and take a position where it's easy to nail down these smaller enemies. But as you can see, dive still quite potent in this fight. I believe each part will do 10 damage, and Zeno takes Fluke Farm down. Lol. I mean, this has to be the 1 billion IQ Dream Wielder modlog play. But Skurry not gonna check that for quite a while, I believe. I also think Skurry isn't gonna feel bad about not checking that for quite a while. Yes, Balder Shell only requires that you be able to kill a Balder. Column 5, not actually that bad, having Dream Builder. Still These two goals are going to be quite annoying unless he does the Shade Skip to Crystal Guardian too. Then this column is long but very doable. Meanwhile, Skurry is really going to be hoping for some luck on these. He needs a Claw Seed, and he needs these to show up somewhere. Okay, Skurry gonna give us our second check over here at Soul Catcher. Well, we're not gonna see any Queen Station skip this time. Frankly, I think that heading into Fungal is a pretty good play here. The other two Green Path checks are quite slow without additional items. Whereas Leg Eater, Dash Master, Mantis Claw can get a lot done in Fungal Waste right now. Yes, Skurry has a lot of experience not knowing what to do with his Vestiaire, so I believe that he will be very acquainted now with this entrance to Fog Canyon. He cannot check Shape of Un right now. Shape of Un does require Claw or Wings. Interesting to note, Zeno killed the Green Path Balder, but didn't go into Green Path. So he actually won't be as far behind Skurry as he might have been. I mean, Skurry has to think Zeno's far ahead after the Dark Room trouble he had. Fortunately, though, Zeno squandered most of his lead. If Skurry ends up checking Fluke Farm, he'll be able to do it much faster than Zeno did. Much, much faster, actually. Alright, and Leg Eater is trash. Soul Catcher and Hive Blood. Hive Blood's a very nice safety charm, actually. But this really isn't a scenario where I would buy it at 380 GO. Nope, what I'd like to see from Skurry right now, focus primarily on finding items, and prioritize 5 Cornifer locations. Worth noting, I didn't mark this, but both runners have his Vestiaire in reserve right now. Meanwhile, Zeno finds his Vestiaire but doesn't use it. He's gonna do Green Path first. Not a bad idea. We know Leg Eater was bad. So it's the 2 items in Fungal against the 2 items in Green Path. That's what it's down to. This is interesting routing from Zeno. Where interesting is a euphemism to mean bad. I mean, nothing wrong with prioritizing the Green Path check, but Green Path chest, but it is a very slow Shade Skip, and this makes it harder to get the Green Path stag. Checking Cornifer locations makes no sense on his board position. Yeah, I don't know. Also, doesn't even get the grub. Huh. Very nice corner boost by Zeno. Very impressive. Does not get either grub for doing this longer loop. Little disappointing, I imagine, for him, but nothing wrong with that. Skurry, not going to go for itemless Explosion Pogo. Not actually a bad play because Vanta's Claw is a forced quit out right now, unless it's progression. Better to check Dash Master first. Oh, Zeno isn't checking the Green Path chest. He just really wanted that bench, so he can save quit there after Hornet, obviously. Meanwhile at Dash Master, we get Crystal Heart. That does not open anything up at the moment, but that does bring us one step closer to that oh so fun Claw, Crystal Heart, Thorns access. Though obviously when you have Claw, who needs Thorns? Yeah, the kind of scary thing about Crystal Heart early is that it will make your dash access a little unnecessary. It means that progression could be much later. Also means wings could be later if it's a Claw Seed. But yes, we will have to carefully monitor Skurry to see if he wisely uses his movement options. So far, the answer is no. Skurry seems to be unaware that Crystal Heart allows you to Super Dash. We will see whether he realizes that in the future. It's worth noting that the distance... Oh, and Dream now. So, Skurry racking up quite the reserve here. A very nice find, actually. If Zeno finds... Well, we now know that progression is in Green Path. So Zeno might delay his fungal play for quite some time. Also, a little unfortunate that Skurry didn't bench at Leg Eater or something so we could open the station. It won't be an awful backtrack from the Green Path chest, but just unfortunate. This really isn't bad for Skurry, necessarily, since actually getting 5 24 locations would be really easy in this position. But I have the feeling that he's not going to do that. Like, it would only take him a couple minutes to get that and then have 3 goals, which would be quite good. But yeah, it's very unclear to me what Skurry is doing. He may not know that he can check the items in Green Path. It would be very unfortunate if we saw a Fluke Farm play from Skurry right now. Oh, also, I was going to mention that with Crystal Heart and no dash, the longest walking distance you should ever do is about the length of 1 dash. So, just to put that in perspective, Skurry should be using Crystal Heart everywhere right now. And this is concerning because Skurry is going to City of Tears. This is going to squander all of Skurry's advantage from checking Green Path early. And more. It could possibly lead to him losing those reserve goals if Zeno progresses into Fungal Waste here after finding progression. There are actually 6 Cornifer locations which are accessible to Skurry right now. As chat notes, Crossroads, Green Path, Fungal Wastes, Resting Grounds, Kingdom's Edge, and Ancient Basin. So, not a hard goal to get in this situation. If that's what Skurry is doing right now, that would be really nice. I just don't believe it. I suspect the worst in people until proven otherwise. Well, this is interesting. Zeno avoiding all the shade skips. So he's gonna come down here into Queen Station. He won't be able to do anything down here though. Probably see him save quit to the bench afterwards. Yeah, that's what I think. Nope. Then is he gonna come down from Crossroads? Skurry seems paralyzed. What will he do? Ugh. After the last race I commented, I felt like I really didn't need to do another race, which would go an hour with only one goal, but that seems to be what we're going to get here. Unfortunately, Skurry following right in Zeno's footsteps, not rushing corner for locations, as far as I can tell. He doesn't seem to know that the sign is pogoable either. This sentry husk won't come over far enough left, no matter what. Its AI was changed in current patch. It cannot be lured over here. Well, Skurry figures it out finally. Or did he? Skurry made it. Looks like he's headed to Lem. This is very unfortunate. I don't know why our runners both felt the need to make this flute farm play. Very, extremely unlikely to be required. Extremely slow. Orphan's Defender's Crest squanders the advantage of opening Green Path stack early. I'm offended. It's true. Sorry, chat. I will try not to be toxic. Meanwhile, Zeno headed into Fungal. Be seeing him get Crystal Heart and Dream Mail quite shortly. The nice thing about having Crystal Heart is that it makes Baldur's Shell a very fast check. No shade skip required in that scenario. Also makes Green Path check easy. Crystal Heart removes both shade skips. Also, Skurry isn't using Crystal Heart, which is kind of sad. But I can't blame him. It's very difficult to remember Crystal Heart if you pick it up in Rando. I've forgotten it myself quite a bit. Yes, that's what I was saying, Shaddy. That's why this play is so strange. It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. Both runners have isolated those two locations, which are much faster than the alternative. At least for Zeno it makes sense since he doesn't have Crystal Heart yet. And Skurry has bought his simple key. Why, Skurry? Why would you think that this is the right play? I mean, presumably, he thinks that one of the items in Green Path was Dream Builder, which is why he doesn't have to check that. I feel like that would be the most logical explanation for why he's doing this. It's just very unfortunate. No. Did Skurry not open King Station? That is unfortunate and slow. Also worth noting, Skurry is going to have a much more difficult time on Fluke Farm than Zeno did. Skurry did not buy Nail 1. But maybe he'll get... Well, no, he can't even afford it now. I don't know. Anyways, Zeno finding his Crystal Heart. He'll be on his way to Dreamnail now. And now both of our runners will have two whole reserve goals. Yeah, Fluke Nail 0, never a good idea. Always worth it to take the extra time to get Nail 1. That's my opinion. Obviously, for those who are skilled at the game, just to say not me. But for those people, you do not need Zeno having a bit of trouble. He's murdering these fantasies with his Dream Shield. And Zeno abandons Dreamnail. That is gonna be rough for Zeno. That is painful. We spoke too soon. when we said Zeno would have 2 reserve rolls. So meanwhile, Skurry in Waterways. He's gonna do it. He's headed towards Dung Defender, which he is not gonna do. This is a good time to spam your Skurry Lost in chat, I think. Skurry needs your help. Let's see, 5 corner for locations is possible with any verticality upgrade or any City of Tears access. Which is to say, claw, wings, dive, or, you know, if you're capable, dash VS. There. Yes, Skurry could very easily do it right now. He has not made much progress towards it, though. Meanwhile, Zeno, a current patch runner, not very familiar with old-school Explosion Pogo, is using a very strange setup for it, and then gives up. Okay, Skurry seems to be in trouble. Skurry is posting in Discord that he doesn't know what to do, and he also doesn't know how to use Rando Helper. Which is kind of sad because we told him how to use Rando Helper after the last race where he got stuck. And now I feel bad. What do you think, chat? Should someone take pity on him and show Skurry how to use the pins in race discussion? Did Skurry not open Green Path Stag? Okay, I will post the link to the Rando Helper in race discussions, since that's in the pins anyways. Skurry has been to Green Path. I don't know why he didn't get the Stag. Yeah, not getting the Stag is going to be a huge setback. Hard mode. Yeah, this is very unfortunate for Skurry. It's also unfortunate that he just sort of gives up, right? Like, I mean, sometimes it is really good for Rando to like take a moment and regroup and figure out what to do. But in this scenario, Staring at the stack menu only means you're not making progress. I still don't get why I didn't get green path. Oh well, can't dwell on it. Is Zeno still trying to get to Dreammail? Okay, can he do it this time? This is agonizing. Oh, I get it. Nail 1 was probably also giving him a lot of trouble. Okay. So, we have progression on the right. Not item progression, but progression in the sense to moving on to something else. Alright, Skurry just flat out has to be misusing this Rando helper. There must be some item he doesn't remember that he has. Maybe Crystal Heart? Skurry might not remember he has Dive, or he might not remember he has Crystal Heart. That's what I think. Yeah, what I think is probably happened to Skurry is he didn't check Dive in the Rando helper, so it's telling him the only item he has access to is Green Path Chest. That is my guess. Alright, Zeno really committed to checking every single corner for location for a goal that is extremely unobtainable for him. Grub Song is not in logic, chat. Please don't propagate this myth any longer. Grub Song requires claw or wings. This is well known. Grub Song without claw or wings is stupid. No one would enjoy it. We already have extremely long early games in Rando Bingo. Making it longer is just unnecessary. Alright, Zeno is also lost. He may think he's already checked Green Path or something. He didn't though. Alder Shell and Green Path Chest unchecked so far. Also, Skurry missed Green Path Chest. So that's weird. Maybe he's gonna go down this way? I mean, that's a route you could take. No chat, if Zeno were to acquire the Cornifer goal right now, he would permanently lose that goal, since he already has 2 reserve goals. That would do nothing to Skurry. Reserving a goal does not block your opponent from claiming it, either. In short, there's no reason for Zeno to go for that goal. Unless he just suspects that Skurry will not be able to get it, which could be the case since Skurry hasn't prioritized that. Alright, looks like Zeno's gonna go for Boulder Shell, as Skurry heads for Green Path Chest. We'll see which racer is right. For Skurry's sake, we really have to hope that progression is here, because we may see a breakdown if it's dive blocked and he can't figure out the helper. Okay. Come on. Come on. That is great for Skurry. And that's great for Zeno. Well, chat was right. I was also right. Everyone was right. And Zeno's now in a great position because Crystal Guardian 2, very accessible. 4 Dream Trees, easy. Soul Master, fast. As a matter of fact, we want to talk about what Zeno can mark right now. It's everything. Like, here are all the goals that are accessible to Zeno at the moment. That is 19 out of 25. Like, holy cow. Something like that. Actually, this one's also accessible, I think. Yeah, that doesn't require dash. Yeah, this is full go mode for Zeno. No reason to wait for dash. And it looks like that we are seeing go mode from Zeno. I think that he is going to rush Mask Maker here. That way he can get the 3 goals snipe. Very cool play from him. Really am a big fan of this. Fortunately for Skurry, he doesn't realize that he has access to Boulder Shell. So it could be quite some time before he goes back and finds those wings. I don't think anyone knows how many cornies Zeno has. Not very good at Queen's Garden, huh? See if he goes back for it. Yep. Yep. Generally, these guys are easier to pogo than they are to attack from above. Oh yeah, and also Zeno doesn't have Claw, does he? I forgot that. Yeah. Skurry didn't check Boulder Shell, and Zeno didn't check Green Path Chest. So, my bad. I was acting like it was a guaranteed thing that Zeno would go check the Green Path chest location. But obviously, it's too much to assume that. Who knows how long it could take. Well, that could be Skurry's saving grace, because Zeno might not go back to Green Path for a very long time. And without Claw, it'll be harder for him to finish the seed. Not impossible, but harder. This is Skurry's 3rd time entering City of Tears this way. Really makes you think. Skurry having a very hard time without wings or dash here. This movement is fairly difficult. It's like it's trying to find where Gorgeous Husk is. Or he's trying to find where the grub is. Dream Shield continuing to cause Zeno all kinds of trouble. And Skurry not prioritizing any goals. It's sad. I was so excited about us being in go mode. But I was wrong. We're not even close to go mode. We may never find go mode. Go mode is a myth. Are both runners going into Soul Sanctum right now? That would be strange from Skurry. In fact, anything other than immediately going for coin for locations doesn't make sense out of Skurry. He's in huge risk of losing reserve goals here. I want to see the hive. Let's get something fun and interesting to commentate. But yeah, I'm really worried that Skurry is going to come up here and try and get some of these items, and that's a really bad idea because he'll lose a goal if he kills Watcher Knights, he'll lose a goal if he kills Soul Master. Mind, those weren't goals he was likely to get in the first place, but it's still very unfortunate. Well, it looks like Skurry is just gonna give up the Watcher Knight's goal. That's gonna be annoying for him. Zeno will probably still be able to get this, but I don't know. This is a very slow check too. I mean, it's not just that 5 corner for locations would be safer. 5 corner for locations is literally the only thing that Skurry can mark right now. He can get the 3 grubs in Queen's Garden, but that is going to be a little difficult. There are some platform sections which he might not be able to do without finding wings right now. Skurry also taking a lot of damage on Watcher Knights. Very concerning. Looks like a death to me. Yep, there's the death. Now both runners are connected to the board. There can be no doubt that they should be able to see it. Alright, Skurry. Right back in. No, not right back in. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong screen. Skurry in Dirtmouth. Indecisive. Skurry looks very sad. Zeno's Shade is in complete starter. Alright, Zeno down to the last two. As long as he doesn't die here, this will be 3 goals for him. Yeah, like, it's really sad to see this happening to Skurry, but, I don't know, he doesn't seem to play with much strategy for Bingo. And, like, I'm not trying to say that in a mean way, it's just, he doesn't seem to be thinking about how to rush goals on the card right now. Well, anyways, if he checks Baldur's Shell here, this will be good for Skurry. This will be a way for him to get back into the race. So, let's all hope that that's what we get. Yes, it is worth noting, Zeno does not have Claw. It's going to be fairly difficult for Zeno to actually win outright with the items he currently has. That being said, by entering Soul Sanctum now, we'll be able to open up a new line with Soul Master. I think that Zeno has access to 13 goals without Claw. Bear in mind, the only claw block golds on this card are Field Champion, Crystal Peak Grubs, Greta and Sly, and Queen's Garden Grubs. Even Crystal Guardian 2 doesn't require Claw in hard terms. I mean, a lot of runners aren't very familiar with the corner for locations, so they won't go for that goal unless 5 corner for locations literally fall into their lap. That's just the way they play. So, like, they won't use the wiki to find out where they are, won't use the map or anything, they'll just wait. Not just Skurry, I mean. So, that could be what we're seeing here. Skurry does find wings. This will be good for him. Does not head into Howling Cliffs. That's a little disappointing. It's possible we're going to see a full clear free path at this point. Skurry can check the other 2 items. And if he finds dash slash, VS, even just plain old dash, would be very nice for him. Meanwhile, Zeno on to Soulmaster fight. I believe he found Shaman Stone at Spell Twister. Jack can correct me if I'm wrong. Alright, looks like Skurry is going to check Great Slash next. Let's see how this goes for him. He gives up. Maybe he's going to heal, or maybe he doesn't think this is realistic for him. Yeah, this is... And if he goes for Thorns with Crystal Heart, well, we'll see. Oh, this is doable, Skurry. Skurry? No. He literally even jumped onto the part of the wall that you crystal mash off of. That's sad. It's like Skurry's so close to doing it, and then he gives up. That's what's really painful. So, like, he could have checked on, could have checked Thorns, could have checked Great Slash, and it feels like the only thing we're gonna get out of this is Balder Shell and the corner first location. Oh, did Skurry check on? I didn't think Skurry checked it. Unless I missed it, and there was something there. Yep, Skurry starting to get some corner throw locations in. This is a good sign. I believe this is Skurry's first. But Zeno might be close to swiping this goal, actually. He'll get one right here. I don't know how many he has. But it might be too little too late for Skurry to start going for this. Now, Zeno might need a few more here. This is a transparent attempt to try and get me to say something, so I'm not going to comment on it. Take whatever benches you want. It's not my business to care whether you lose time or not. But yeah, I strongly suspect that Zeno can snipe that corner for goal in this position. I know he checked Crossroads and Resting Grounds and City of Tears. Right, Skurry has just got Kingdom's Edge. Yeah, Zeno went out of his way to get the ones in Fungal and Green Path. Alright, so we know Zeno did Crossroads. He did Fungal. He did Green Path. He did City of Tears. Did he not do Resting Grounds? Alright, we need someone on pod duty to verify which ones Zeno checked. When did Zeno get this goal? And did he violate the reserve rule in doing so? I think he might already have 5, and he's just not sure about it. That's my guess. There's the wrong nail art. The other two both on the board. Where is Zeno going? If he just goes grab the one Resting Grounds, I would feel confident. I mean, the easiest thing to do is just grab the stupid 5 corner for location goal, the toll goal, and all the other awful goals. There's no reason to have these dumb goals which take so much work to verify and don't do anything interesting in terms of routing. Not to mention, we need longer and more complex goals for Rando anyways. Alright, so Zeno is going to check Shape of Un for us and see what it is. What did Skurry miss on when he was last here? Meanwhile, I am going to look at the highlight, or the VOD rather. Obviously it's not highlight. Okay. Skurry just about having defeated Watcher Knights. Zeno finds Gathering Swarm. not the charm of choice here. It's a nice charm, but not worth the minute or so it took to retrieve it. Alright, Skurry finds Dash. That's very nice for him. Enormous, actually. It could be a very long time before Zeno comes back for that. Meanwhile, however, it does seem that Zeno's going to head back into... is not going to head back into Queen's Garden. Possibly remembering that he came in here, but he never talked to Cornifer in here? Nope. That's not it. Maybe he's going to talk to Cornifer in Deep Nest? That is an option. But he fails the explosion pogo. Let's see if his shade will spawn in the right spot on the map. It is worth noting that heading into Deep Nest right now, not great for Zeno. Getting to Mask Maker from below without Claw is quite difficult in the dark. It does require a shade skip. And a very difficult shade skip too, because your shade is very suicidal in that room. Okay, so Zeno didn't get Resting Grounds. Interesting. Alright, and he finds Vengeful Spirit here. Could be tough for Skurry to get back here. That's probably a good sign for Zeno. Alright, is Zeno going to talk to Cornifer in here? He is, and he snipes the goal. That sucks for Skurry. That really does. Now, if Skurry thinks, he should realize that he has access to all of Queen's Garden. He can get all the grubs. Okay, what are we gonna see from Skurry? I believe that this is the fastest route for him to get back to Queen's Garden, since he did not open Queen Station or Green Path Stack. Still think that's strange, but yeah, he gets a chance to remedy it now. Meanwhile, Zeno heading deep into Deep Nest. You can get King's Idols here. You can check some items. You can't get Mask Maker unless he is a God Gamer. I certainly gonna do it. That's my thought. Yeah, Zeno does seem to be struggling a little bit with this Dark Room. The first one, usually considered to be one of the easier ones out of the three. You just do 2 full jumps at the beginning, none of this double jump business, and it's quite rare to actually hit the spikes. But he does get through the first Dark Room. He's gonna farm some soul off of the Devout. Meanwhile, Skurry going for grubs. This is a good, really good sight out of Skurry. This can keep him in the game. It will, however, reveal to Zeno that Claw is early. Probably. Possibly. But doesn't need to be a huge concern when Skurry needs to get on the board in the first place. Yeah, Skurry having difficulties, a lot like Zeno did. Yeah, this seed has been very stingy with spells. And these Mantises with their buffed HP can be quite annoying. So we see Skurry go down to 1 HP. Alright, be careful, Skurry. Don't die. Okay, Skurry pulls it out. It was a nail biter. Oh, and did Zeno die in the Dark Room? I was watching Skurry, but if he did, that's awful. That really sucks. But that's great for Skurry. This could pull Skurry back into this. Oh, okay, he quit out. That's very reasonable if you don't know the Dark Room. The strategy for the second one is actually very easy and consistent with Wings, but it's very much a you have to know it kind of thing. Like, if you don't know it, it's not happening. Alright, so what is your play, Zeno? It's not checking braids. Oh yes it is, he just doesn't have Claw. Yeah, this would be an amazing comeback if Zeno spends the whole race searching for Claw. Like, Skurry can still do it if the randomized goals play out in his favor. It'll be a little iffier without that 5 corner for location goal, but that's not required for him, for sure. I think the biggest thing for Skurry right now is making sure that he gets that really fast rescue Greta and Sly goal before Zeno does. He wants to really take advantage of this Claw while he has it. Okay. Or maybe not. Maybe you don't go for that and hope Zeno never finds Claw. But of course, Zeno, from Skurry's perspective, how could you not think Zeno found Claw considering how early and easy it was? Alright, that's one piece of the puzzle from Zeno's side. He finds Boulder Shell. I don't think we've seen Thorns or Spore Shroom yet though, so that goal is still a long ways off. Whoops. My bad. Alright, Zeno heading into Queen's Garden now. From the correct entrance this time. I think it's very safe to say that Zeno forgot that chest. The Green Path chest, which did have Mantis Claw, can be a little hard to get to. It's kind of cut off from the rest of Green Path. The fastest way for him to get there, by far, would be coming up from Queen Station. If he remembered it, you would have expected him to go for it after race there. Interesting to me that Skurry is choosing to back up this way, not getting the stag station, or at least the bench there. This is probably faster though, so I'm not going to criticize it too much. Just a little risky with all the frogs and their copious amounts of RNG. Yeah, 112% doesn't really make a big difference. For one thing, most of 112% tech in the first place is for bosses, not really for the items they check. And in fact, you can actually see it has hurt Zeno in quite a number of places in this race where he forgot to inventory drop, he didn't know how to do explosion pogo. It can be a little bit rough, actually, for 112% runner to learn the strats that other NMG runners kind of take for granted. And Skurry is on the board. Congrats to Skurry. You can just quit out. Yeah. I think the best course of action for Skurry is to go for the one extra soul vessel. But he doesn't know that, so Bretta and Sly is probably the fastest goal from his perspective. Okay, Skurry, heading into Soul Sanctum. What are we gonna see here? Well, we already know. I don't think there was anything good in Soul Sanctum, was there? Shaman Stone, but that's mediocre at best in Rando. If Skurry is doing Nail Zero Soul Tyrant, then that is very questionable. Not because I don't believe that Skurry is fully capable of doing that, because I do. That just seems so slow. No, if anyone can do Nail Zero Soul Tyrant, it is definitely Skurry. We are all incredibly impressed with his last race. I believe against X, maybe? Where Skurry rushed early Crystal Guardian 2 and did it with only Nail Zero. It was really cool to see. I highly recommend anyone go back and watch that. Yeah, Skurry is great at these under-equipped boss fights. I say that, and I really do hope that Skurry doesn't make me eat my words now, but I have lots of faith in him. Meanwhile, Zeno Zeno gets to the room with his shade and dies. That's that is a vibe. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing you can do. I wonder what he's trying for here. Oh, did Skurry not fight Soulmaster? Weird. That play confuses me. We have seen everything except Mantis Lords out of Fungal Wastes. Zeno probably desperately trying to figure out where Skurry found Claw, and he might even think that it's over at Mark of Pride now. Meanwhile, Skurry looks to be headed into Waterways. Not bad, but Skurry... No, Skurry is definitely not in go mode. I was meant to say something very untrue. Skurry really needs to have a lot of checks pay out right now in order to get those column 1 goals. Of course, we know that one of the checks Skurry needs to make is Vengeful Spirit, which is where... is Spore Shroom, which is where Vengeful Spirit was. Also, where is Skurry going? I'm confused and worried. I hope he realizes this is not a Soul Vessel shard here. In this room, this is a Mass shard. Or he could just be checking Mantis Lords, but that would be so slow. So slow. Oh, Beretta via Waterways. Scratch everything. This is a brilliant play. Skurry is a genius, and I could not follow his galaxy brain routing. Please forgive me. I love this play to check Beretta, actually. Especially since Skurry doesn't have Queen Station or the shortcut. Great play. Meanwhile, it does look like Zeno is punching in towards Mantis Lords. Now, if Skurry can just do this the casual way and not die. Come on, Skurry. Don't. Okay. He pulls off the swag strat. Third try. And he gets his second goal. Skurry making a comeback. Now, I'm not sure that Beretta and Sly was the right goal to go for in this scenario. The reason why I say that is that, obviously given Skurry's knowledge, this is the fastest goal. But this does mean that Column 2 no longer has any claw blocked rolls. That is really good for Zeno, since who knows when Zeno finds claw. But both our runners are going to check this, never mind. I was going to say, I was expecting Skurry to check Mantis Lords, but seems to be headed somewhere else. Yeah, rushing grubs does make sense in Skurry's position. But Skurry doesn't continue on to Sports Room. We know that Skurry has to check Sports Room to find Vengeful Spirit. So this is going to be unfortunate. As it is, I'm not quite sure what Skurry is heading towards. There's nothing up here. Right? Anyone have any ideas for what Skurry is doing? Is he going to get the Fog Canyon grub? Maybe? Because that would be way slower than the Spore Shroom grub would have been. Nope, not going to Fog Canyon. See, okay, he's checking Grub Father this way? Still, I don't get why he doesn't open Queen Station. That would be a really useful stag to have here. Soul Eater. And Geo. Mantis Lord's not helpful today. Skurry will be lucky if he never visits there. Skurry seems to do a lot of walking in his routing. Not necessarily a criticism, but I feel like he could have saved 20 minutes already in this race by just buying more snags and using them. Alright, we're fast approaching the 2-hour point. 9 goals have been marked. Wow, I must have been completely zoned out when Zeno checked Maskmaker, or talked to Maskmaker. And I believe he did it. I just wasn't watching. It did not register that that happened at all. Okay, and Skurry gets his 15th grub. Making good progress on his side. I think that if you're Skurry, the best thing to do right now is to go into Crystal Peak and rush items. The Skurry desperately needs to find a lot of random checks in order to open up column 1. You just hope that Weaver Song shows up along the way. Keep your options open. Failed Champ closes options. That's my opinion. Oh yeah, Zeno about to find Mantis Claw. Finally coming back to Green Path. It's gonna feel pretty bad about this, I imagine. Meanwhile, Skurry choosing a very odd bench. Ancestral Mound, not normally a place you think of as let me stop and set my hard save there, but it's an option. Zeno, meanwhile, we just saw him pick up the Vessel Shard, his first one. That's what I was saying earlier, like, obviously because he just found Mantis Claw, it's a moot point, but Skurry can't defend that goal without checking more random items. Failed Champ right now is really a waste of time. This is a super slow goal which Zeno can't get anyways, and which doesn't help Skurry's board position. There's just no reason to go for this. And, well, I said before that I have a lot of confidence in Skurry. I'm expecting a death here. Unless we just see the absolute maniac pull this off. Failed Champ is a really tough boss fight, though he does have all movement for it, I suppose. And Skurry is a really solid true line runner. Zeno can get Failed Champ, he can't mark Failed Champ, and also Skurry needs to be checking random items right now anyways, so Skurry should really just be hoping to find Weaver Song. As it is, the huge downside of this play is that if Skurry goes on his item hunt after this and does find Weaver Song, then that will be a reserve goal that just clogs him up for the rest of the race. In other words, this is just kind of straight up bad, is my opinion. Like, this is a multiple minute fight with Nail Zero only. He doesn't need the essence. It has no positive side effects. This is just giving up minutes he could be checking items. The good thing is that Skurry has handled this fight very well so fast. Very well so far. So even though it's very slow, I'm just going to be quiet. Okay, Skurry seems to finally be through. To everyone's relief, he decides to heal. And the fight is over. Skurry marks the goal. I still dislike this, but whatever, Skurry. Do whatever you want. I mean, Skurry could get CG2, but Zeno is going to get CG2 right now. The only way in which Skurry gets CG2 is if Zeno dies here without benching, which I find fairly unlikely. Zeno, being himself an accomplished 112% runner, shouldn't have any trouble with this fight. Deep focus. Oh, what was it? Steady body, I believe. Skurry's struggling with Glowing Loom a little bit. Needs to be careful here. Alright, but Zeno easily demolishes Crystal Guardian 2. That's one more goal off the table for Skurry. That's a mass shard, chat. Yep, so we'll probably see Zeno finish the loop around here. He can check every item in Crystal Peak now, since dash isn't required for any of them. Might even go for all grubs. That is a goal. And it does look like that's what he's thinking. Yep, right now Skurry has to really hope that either that Shopkeeper's Key or the last 3 items here pays out big. Good news for Skurry is that Zeno can't mark any column 1 goals, so if Dash Slash is here, then that will be a goal which Skurry can immediately mark. Yeah, Zeno has no reason to focus on two Soul Warriors. He should be moving into column 3 and column 2 right now. Also Skurry giving us all a bit of a heart attack in this room, but he does make it through okay. Interesting find. Our second spell. No, our third spell. We now have all the base 1 spells found. Base 1. Level 1 spells, base spells, whatever. Commentators also get tired out at the 2-hour mark. Okay, Zeno going all for it with the dashless Grub collection. I don't know if this one's possible. He didn't get the Grub and Crystal Heart Room. Well, it doesn't look like that's going to be an issue, because I don't think Zeno can get this Grub either. But that is definitely worth keeping in mind. Skurry not seeming to know that you can just skip this whole room with Crystal Heart. Or not knowing where to do it, I suppose. You could just do it at the start of the room. It's no big deal. Can't do it off the spinning platform, so. Zeno should really just get cut his losses here. This isn't happening. Okay. So what is next for Zeno? Okay. Yeah, so Zeno did get that one. That would have been a really surprising mistake if Zeno had made it. Thanks, Murray, for checking. And this is why chat should always be careful before we call out runners for thanks they did. Alright, Zeno gets the scrub halfway through the Crusher Gauntlet. This last part doesn't require a dash. He's through. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Sprint Master. I suppose I could have seen that on Skurry's side, but I was watching Zeno. Oh no, Dark Room Boogaloo from Skurry, and it ends just as badly. Miscounting the maps is a knick-knack thing. That is not my fault. I wasn't even commentating that race. Yeah, that's really rough for Skurry. Also getting back to his habit of always leaving his bench in these really weird places. Like, even if you felt the impulse to suddenly bench an Ancestral Mound to change your terms, like, I would still think that you would want to would reset your bench in the stack station, right? I don't get it. Zeno is going to be so angry when he finds out where Dash was. He really will. Oh, that sucks for Skurry. That is awful. Who knows when Skurry gets back to D-Dark? I mean, hopefully he'll go back for his shade, right? I think that's the best thing we can hope for. Will Skurry go back? Ugh, and Zeno is still wasting time on this. I guess now that he has Sprint Master, he's trying again. That makes sense. And he gets it, actually. That's the last scrub. GG, and good job to Zeno. Pulling it up with Sprint Master is actually really cool. But this could be bad for Skurry. Skurry is very distracted from going back to get a shade. Zeno may be able to snipe that Dash Master goal before Skurry gets back there. You are not done with that one, Skurry. Skurry, why? Skurry, it makes a sound when it's finished. I don't even have your audio on, but you should have heard it. Well, this is going to suck. I can already see Skurry marking this goal and me having to unmark it. Ugh. I believe Zeno only has one, maybe two. I think Zeno finishes his Soul Vessel and then marks Sprint Master. That's a clear next move for him. Do not tell me that Skurry is going to try and do this Kingdom's Edge Dream Route, Whispering Route. This one takes a billion years. It's 50 essence. It's also not in this room, so that could be another bit of game knowledge. Skurry seems to be lost. He doesn't know where the other Whispering Root is. It's in the version of this room one level up. Yeah, just come over through the acid. Now let's see. Where does Zeno go get the last Vessel Shard from? Probably King Station. Or Stag Nest. I like Stag Nest actually. Gets us a couple more item checks with it. So this is what Skurry thinks will be his third, but it's actually his second. Is that correct, chat? I don't think he's done another. Clearly not up to date with his essence routing. Also, this is just such a terrible choice of Whispering Fruit in the first place. Also, something I only recently discovered thanks to Axe's work mapping it out. But this Whispering Route, despite being 50 essence, is super linear. Like, you just follow the trail. And, yep. Zeno just found Weaver Song, which is another goal. Skurry could have found this a while ago if he'd just gone to Cliffs. Alright, I'm actually going to change audio for a moment here. Just because...
In the near future.
Oh no, Skurry's...
Yeah.
Skurry is talking. But I want us to be able to hear if he gets the sound.
Essence here. Where else is there essence? Holy shit. I went this entire room. I traveled the entire room and there's still an essence somewhere.
We're getting great commentary from Skurry. I love it.
What the heck? Where did they hide this thing?
This room is actually awful to clear. The primal aspids are pretty bad.
What the hell, dude? I've been everywhere.
I think it might be near the bottom. It's not top left. It may be left side though. That's where most of them are, is on the left climb. Of course, one thing he could do is reload the room and just watch where the essence goes when he activates the Whispering Root.
I can't find it, dude. I can't find the last essence.
Because it actually does go.
It doesn't exist.
In a straight line path to wherever its endpoint is.
What the hell? What? There's no way.
We're getting to see Skurry's
There's no way I
quite
didn't find it yet.
literally.
This is absurd.
Yeah, good point from chat. I have not been doing Zeno his due diligence, but he is at game point here.
Oh, there's two here. Okay.
Okay, Skurry finished
Found
it.
it.
That's his third. But let's get Zeno's audio back on. Because Zeno is about to win, presumably. Okay, Zeno looks like he's going to finish off the seed and the race with a nice, fun little Dung Defender fight. Probably not faster than probably not faster than Colosseum or the Kingdom's Edge one, rather. But it's a lot more fun, right? We all want to see Dung Defender. And Zeno has shown a particular affinity for waterways this seed, you might say. Okay, sorry, Skurry. That's not gonna fly. Okay. That's the end of it. I think that we just got the Skurry
That was
rage
certainly
quit.
exciting. Wow. Whew.
Let's see. Oops, race channel. Hello, Zeno.
Hi.
Let me mute you.
I have one important question.
It was at Watcher Nights.
You serious? Dash was at Watcher Nights?
It was. And
Oh
Skurry
wow.
found it. We were
Wow.
surprised that Skurry went there and checked it. And
Yeah, I mean, I had to go for so long. Why would he go there?
yeah, but I don't know. He actually started the fight before you, but died to it and then came back. So, like, it really paid off for him because he had much better movement than you afterwards.
Wait, so he already had Claw by that point?
Yes, Skurry actually had claw, but not wings at that point, I think.
Okay, so I was actually like really behind on movement options.
Scurry found wings very late. Because,
Yeah, but Claw is far superior to Wings.
yeah, sorta. But yeah, both of you had a lot of issues early on.
Yeah, I was
Including
thinking
strange fluke farm plays. Scurry almost did fluke farm. He went into waterways, went over towards Dung Defender, but then gave up. So, everyone was desperately waiting for green path checks for so long. We
yeah,
saw.
I actually thought that Green Path was probably the superior option, but I kind of went for Flukemar because it's kind of cooler.
Of course.
It's not optimal. It's very not optimal. I spent so much time getting into Flukemar too. Like there was no way Flukemar was optimal. I lucked out and it paid
Definitely
off,
not.
but
Yeah, your City of Tears routing early on was frightening,
bad.
to say the least.
It was bad.
But it actually did pay off in a weird, ironic way by getting you that column 5 start. Which,
Yeah, I was actually thinking from like the very beginning of the game that like column 1 is terrible.
yes,
Because
of course.
it had basically only random stuff and then coordinate for locations.
Yeah, column
Which,
1
I mean,
was
locations is fine, but almost
quite
everything
awful.
else like random items.
So in that sense, column 5 was good. Of course, definitely got very lucky by the availability of movement for, as well as Dream Nail too, even. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the early Dream Nail was pretty nice for me.
yeah, it worked out really well for you. Of course, you ended up only marking one Dream Nail goal, actually, now that I look at the card. But
Yeah, thing is, I didn't have good movement options. Well, I didn't feel like I had good movement options. I didn't have dash and claw, so all the dream trees was gonna be really slow.
really hard, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't impossible. And failed champion I couldn't do, and soul tyrant I couldn't really do either because I didn't have dash, and dash is so vital to both those fights.
No, and Scurry had a very impressive field champ fight with basically nail 0 and dive.
Yeah, the thing is,
I mean, it took forever, but he pulled it off. But like you said, that's something which requires having all the movement. You can't do that without dash. It's just
yeah,
not feasible.
or lots of damage. But like without dash, you're not winning failed champion.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even gonna bother with that. But the thing is, when I saw that Skurry marked the 3 grubs in Queen's Gardens, I knew that he had claw and dash because I know that they require that because I failed on that once.
I I don't believe that requires dash, does it?
No, super dash, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
But in any case, so I knew he had claw, and I was like, what places has he checked where claw could be? Because he got dash, and I was like, it's probably near Mantis Village. And I went there, and it wasn't there. But then I went around and looked for claw for a while, and I finally found it in Green Path. I was like, it could be in Green Path, and I got lucky and found it in Green Path. And after that, I didn't care about doing random checks anymore. I did ones that were in the way.
Yeah, and that was nice for finding you Weaver Song, Sprint Master, Dash Master. Actually, Skurry would have gotten that goal before you if he hadn't have died in the dark room.
Yeah, I'm actually really good at the dark room. I did it like thrice.
Yeah.
Flawlessly each time.
No, I don't mean early on. Like you were both checking Crystal Peak at the same time at that point in the race.
Ah.
So he actually got Sprint Master at the Crusher chest before you. But then
I had some difficulty getting to that chest.
Yes, obviously he had dash at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, he died and then respawned in Ancestral Mound. So that was the point where he started doing Dream Trees instead. And
I actually was thinking while I was going through Crystal Peaks that like he had a claw, right? And he probably had dash because I mean I was really unlucky, but I can't bank on him being that unlucky, right?
Right.
So he probably had dash, and he had Dream Nail because he had marked failed champion at that point. So I decided like I'm gonna completely just give up the Dream Trees goal. I'm not gonna bother with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna spend it like a single second trying to go for the Dream Trees because it's not gonna pay off.
I think that was a good play in general.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you had a lot of other goals on your table, which you could be going for, which would be less uncertain than that one. 4 Dream Trees is a pretty big time investment.
Yeah. Can I just say, by the way, how absolutely lucky I was that I found Sprint Master and Dash Master while benching Crystal Peaks?
In the same place? Yeah.
No, not just because they're in the same place. Like, that was lucky too.
Yeah, so you could get the grub.
I needed that combo to get the 7 grubs in Crystal Peaks.
Yes, we were all very impressed by the charm combo you used to squeeze under those crushers.
Yeah, gotta have the game knowledge, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there were several points in the game where I was like, I am doing so terribly, and like, there was actually one point where I was like, I had Crystal Dash, and no wings, and Isma's Tear, and I was like, where can I go with this? What more can I check? And I actually pulled up the logic just to check, like, where can I actually go?
I mean, Skurry had to do the same thing, too. Both of you were a little lost early on, not quite sure what to do.
Yeah, that seed was, like, the very early game in that seed was so terrible.
Yeah, it was bad on both sides. Or did you mean that the seed was bad?
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I think it was like an hour in or so. I was thinking, like, what the fuck is this seed? Because
we only
didn't have anything, basically.
Yeah, we still only had 1 goaler an hour in. So very late to develop in terms of the race. But
yeah, it was rough.
Yep, we ended up getting there though.
I'm wondering if I spent a little bit too much time early on going for goals. If I'd gone for items, I probably would have found a claw earlier. I mean, it worked out either way, but I'm just like not sure if going for goals that much was worth it. You know?
What goals were you going for explicitly, other than corner for locations?
I wasn't really going for any goals in particular. It was just like I have some stuff and I have goals I can go for, like they're accessible. So I was I'll go for the goals to try and get across the board, you know?
Like making the Watcher Knights check before you could actually get to the chest?
Yeah, that one in particular, I actually had a good reason for it. I remember explicitly my logic there, because I was thinking, originally I was going into Queen's Gardens there to go talk to Maskmaker so I could check off Dreamdawn and Isma's Tear, because I had both of those in reserve, right? And that was like so bad for me.
Yeah,
I actually could not do more random checks.
Right, a really important early play.
Yeah, exactly. So I was gonna go for Queen's Gardens Maskmaker. Then I died in Queen's Gardens. And as I was going back, I remember this very explicitly, I paused and was like, I can go for Watcher Knights instead. because Watch Knights are right next to Soul Sanctum, and Soul Master is also on my side of the board. So I decided to go for Watch Knights instead.
That was some really, really fluid routing, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that.
Of course, you always had the option to go back for 2 Soul Warriors, but I imagine that finding Weaver Song along the way is why you never had to go back.
Yeah, I actually bought the key. I was preparing for it.
You bought it right before Cliffs, yeah.
Yeah, but the whole reason I checked like the Cyclone Slash was, it's a check right in the way, and if it's a random thing that I get that allows me to check a goal, great, And it so happened that I lucked out, and it was, but it really wasn't a big time loss either way.
Yeah, Great Slash or Weaver Song would have shaved minutes off of the race, and did, actually, as it turned out. So yeah, that was really cool.
It was a very enjoyable race. I mean, apart from the very first hour or so.
Yeah.
And throughout the whole race, I was actually slightly frustrated because I was like, where the hell is a dash?
Yeah,
I just couldn't find one.
Late dash seeds can have a real psychological effect to them, where you feel like you have to be miles behind your opponent. Even though, with good routing and good play, dash does save a ton of time, don't get me wrong, but it's not the end-all be-all.
Yeah, I think, honestly, a lot of this probably just came down to the fact that I managed to nab a really good side of the board early on. I think I managed to snowball that quite a bit.
That is very true. Also, Skurry had an unfortunate start, which I think left him tilted for a lot of the seed. I don't want to read too deeply, but I think that was part of why he was unable to get out of his starting side for so long.
Yeah, I mean, I also took a lot of the easier goals to get out with the ones that I actually had the opportunity to take.
Right, you were working on corner for locations long before Skurry started on it. He did start on it before you took the goal, but at that point it was just time lost. You had such a huge lead in approaching that.
Yeah, I actually wanted to get the corner for locations at the same time as I was going through the Queen's Gardens play, the first one. But before I saved out to Watch Knights. But I also remember that one of the things I was thinking was I can't get the corner for goal anyway, so let's go do Watch Knights.
Don't want to put it in reserve too early.
Yeah, exactly, because then I lose a goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we had a long conversation about counting and the difficulties associated therein in chat. We also had misinformation spread about how many grubs you found in Crystal Peak, but fortunately that was corrected.
No, I found some.
No, you got all of them.
Yeah,
so no worries there.
By the way, did anybody check Grub Song? I feel like Skurry would have checked Grub Song, right?
It was Thorns.
Ah, so that's where it was.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't have Spore Shroom anyway. So
yep, Spore Shroom was not found by either of you, so...
It was probably over in Kingdom's Edge.
Yep. Nor was Shade Soul or Dash Slash, obviously. We only found the one VS combi. So, who knows where those were.
But that was... I don't know. I like that, despite the difficulty in finding... in finding movement.
Yeah, that was that was a fun little seed. It was a very early go mode, for all intents and purposes. Or at least, for us in the commentary booth, it was an early go mode, knowing where all the items were.
Yeah.
But,
I also feel like I used Crystal Dash pretty well.
Yeah. Getting an early Crystal Dash seed can be really cool.
Yeah, I could have probably used it better, but I used it well enough.
Yeah, you never use it enough when you don't have Dash, but you did a good job with it, for sure.
I kept thinking throughout the whole seed that I should check East-West Tier, because I had the items to check it pretty early. I just never got back around to visiting Royal Waterways.
It's a tough area to get back to, especially when you do it early and take away one of the checks.
Yeah, there just was never a good reason for me to go there.
Yep. You let down a lot of people by not finding Claw at Fluke Nest,
Yeah, I know.
May-
I was actually thinking like, please be Claw. That would be so cool.
Yeah, that would have been really awesome.
Yeah, it would have been like, it would have been such, you know, a Galaxy Bear play, going for like the really difficult option, but like predicting its Flukeworm seed, but then it missed.
Yeah. So what can
But then
you
it
do?
paid off anyway because it was Dream Builder.
Yeah, it was still super influential in terms of the course of this race. But
And
so
like I said, probably the subpar play, to be honest.
undoubtedly, but I think
Gotta go for the swag though.
yeah. All right then, I think that about covers it for this race.
All right.
Tomorrow, another race, same time, same place. I believe that is Shaddy versus X.
Alright, I might jump in and commentate that. We'll see.
Hmm.